What's up? What's up? Welcome to another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews.
What's
Tonight,
good, everybody?
I'm joined again by my homie Ansem from BLG Bootleg Gang, aka Bootleg Gang, and also my homie Reese, Funeral Man from Torture Talk and Torture Chamber. You guys definitely check those channels out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because they are part of the hip hop dialogue community. You know what I mean? Definitely. So we're trying to get into that. But tonight we have a very interesting topic. This is going to be somewhat of a deep dive topic tonight off a real short snippet from Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher of Griselda fame, one of the top street rappers, street MCs in the game. Y'all know who he is. And he basically is talking about the downfall of hip hop and where it went wrong and what's the problem with the game today. So he brought up in that short 30-second clip, he brought up some interesting points, and we're going to take a deep dive into both of those points, get some takes from that, and have a conversation like we always do here at Hip Hop Roundtable Review. So with that, let me pull up the clip. And let's go from there. Instagram clip. All right. Okay.
So let's. Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game. Now that the weird Twitter nerds and the nerds and all of these weird motherfuckers got, you know what I mean? They got their hands on the culture. The voice of the streets don't mean as much as it did when we was coming up. There was a lot of cons to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say that, but you see what happened when the streets, you know what I mean, don't control the game no more. It's a lot of fuck nigga shit going on, man. And a lot of people's okay with it because they're fuck niggas, man. Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game? Now that the weird Twitter nerd.
All right, hold on. I had to stop the video right there. But anyway, so let's get started on the topic. I just want to get your initial take on that because he did this in the context of the streets, you know, street rappers, you know, dudes in the streets, dudes in the game. But I think it's deeper than that. I think he really hit a nerve when he said Twitter nerds. And I want to get to that part. But I want your initial take, and then I want to get into the street angle of that. But I just want your take. Is the hip hop game fucked up? First off, and do you agree with Benny's comments?
You go first. Okay, cool. All right. I will say the first time I've seen Benny's quote online, it only quote a part of what he said about nerds are taking over the game.
That's true.
That's one thing. But when you hear the footage of what he just said, it makes me wonder, are you really talking about nerds or are you talking about street rappers that you've had issues with, i.e. your Freddie Gibbs?
Okay.
He's calling them nerds because, you know, point. Freddie Gibbs do get online in the internet, but he shows and proves himself at times too. But we've seen him, you know what I mean, getting conflicts with other people in real life too, from Jim Jones, obviously, Black Mafia family people. Now to even point to where you're making an issue with Currency, even though you got a point. Why are you trying to make Currency look like a bad guy?
Yeah,
that's crazy. So that's why, like, when I listen to that video, it's like, okay, I don't get the same effect as seeing it online, and that's a lesson that everybody hears. One thing to see a quote in a post; it's another thing to actually hear what they're saying.
That's a very good point about
now that I listen to this, we have to speak about the street element more than the nerd element because it's not what I thought he was talking about.
Yeah.
I looked at this from the point of view of, so when he said that the nerds is running the game, right? And he's saying, I guess he's talking in the sense of who's talking in the game, like the bloggers or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, the nerds are really not running the game. All the guys that are on top are from the streets. And the guys, and I would even go as far as saying let's just use the Clips as an example. The Clips has a successful album. They do nothing but talk about street rap. They 100% hit their albums about streets. They ain't no ifs, ands, buts about that. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's saying this because, and this is just my personal opinion, it could be targeted at other people, but I think that he feels as though, don't be surprised if he says he's retired from rap, because I think a lot of these rappers, especially street rappers, they have nowhere else to go because they don't know how to do music on that level of what's going on right now. A lot of them are getting looked past because they're actually really good at what they do. Benny's good. Don't get me wrong, like Benny's fire. But I think Benny is lazy. He's not willing to actually jump to the next level. Because if you saying that their streets is right, nigga, you're the god of the streets right now. To be honest with you,
it's one of the biggest street rappers.
Benny the Butcher and Griselda, they were the ones that ushered street rap back in. So what are you waiting for? You could easily take the streets back as far as when it comes to street rap, but you can't because you are not, I ain't gonna say good enough, but you're not, how would I say, ambitious enough to work like the Clips did. They took off for 15 years. They come back and make a classic album.
I love these.
Here's my thing. I actually like Benny's last album. I know Sean said he kind of didn't like it. I was listening 2 weeks ago. It's actually a good album. But the thing is it that sound is not what's popular right now? Because what Griselda do isn't necessarily what Ghostface, Raekwon, and Slick Rick, and soon to be Mobb Deep is doing. And these are the old rappers that are still making what you could consider boom bap. But the level is higher, even as old sounding or current sounding.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I mentioned Mobb Deep's latest song. You heard Taj Mahal produced by Alchemist? That shit sound harder than the new shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm convinced this Mobb Deep album is going to be a top 5 album this year.
I would say dudes like Benny who complain, and I'm going to get to the Drake aspect of this because I think Benny's being a fraud when he says this. I'm being 100%. Okay. Drake is not a street rapper. And I remember him saying Drake is that guy. He runs the game. He's the best in the game. Come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a theory about that, but I'll say that for later. But like I said, I just think that Benny needs to stop complaining and just do the music. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you guys both brought up excellent points because it went right into my first point to talk about. Do the streets really control hip hop culture? And you guys brought up excellent points. Reese, one with Benny the Butcher is him as an artist, because if it really did, why aren't people gravitating to your music? Even when you first kind of came in maybe about like 7-8 years ago when Griselda first blew up. And Ansem, I do want to address the Freddie Gibbs point, because that's a point I never thought about. And he could be kind of trying to give Freddie Gibbs a snub, because Freddie Gibbs does get into a lot of troll and extracurricular shit. But I mean, I think the thing about him not being a street guy, I think is a little bit slanderous. You know what I mean? Because I do think Freddie Gibbs is a street guy. But anyway, I do think that right now, I don't think the streets run hip hop. Well, it's a couple of things. I don't think the streets is what we knew as the streets. I mean, you brought up Mobb Deep. You brought up Raekwon or Wu-Tang Clan. Nas. I would even think that even the Clips. Those type of street rappers are not the street rappers that are in the mainstream. The mainstream street rappers are like Gunna, Young Thug, for lack of a better guy, who's kind of been out of the picture, but Meek Mill, what's his name? Lil Durk. Another guy is what's his name?
Maybe you didn't mention
Lil Baby. Those guys,
okay,
right?
You getting close. Okay.
Yeah, Lil Baby. And to me, they ain't real street dudes, dog. I read how they act and how they move. They all snitch. They snitch on each other. They have feminine ways. They go behind and pillow talk to their girlfriends or wifeys who are in the streets anyway. They all 304s. They all strippers and 304s. Why would a real street guy tell their business and hate on another dude who's a 30 who talking to a 304 who knows is going to tell their business everywhere? Then on top of that, I mean, you got these guys on Instagram showing their guns off and talking about where they did crimes and murders and all that other stuff. That type of street culture is what's mainstream now. And I think that influences a lot of young dudes into thinking, oh, that's hood, that's street or whatever. I mean, if Young Thug was really, because I read all of the stuff that Young Thug does, and this guy was supposed to be a crime boss down in Atlanta with YSL. I said to myself, he had to be the worst crime boss. He breaks every single rule of a real, a real end out there, dog. I mean, the dude goes on a phone conversation from jail and tells his business to everybody, hating on everybody, talking shit. Like, what kind of real man calls real killers move in silence? So, at the end of the day, I do think he has a point because, and what he really means to say is, do the real street guys that I think are street guys run the culture? And I don't think they do anymore because the mainstream street guys are soft. That's my opinion.
Well, you go ahead. I also want to say something about what you said.
Yeah, I want to hear your response before I speak any further. Go ahead, Maurice. That last thing you just said, I want to hear Maurice next.
So, all right. So this we got to understand, right? The streets is it's a world that's unsanctioned. Most people in the streets now, they kind of go with whatever they believe what it is. So, for example, like, I get what you're saying about Young Thug, him being the weakest crime boss and him snitching on the phone. That's what the streets is now.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when Benny Butcher says things about, when he says the streets need to bring the streets back or whatever, people like Gunna, people like these dudes are well connected. The thing is, our version of the streets when we grew up is not their version of the streets.
That's
their
right.
version of the streets is things are incorporated. Snitching is incorporated in their streets. They might not say it, but it's okay. You don't see a lot of people giving anybody pushback on a lot of niggas ratting anymore because it's a kind of acceptable.
Oh, the pass. It's an automatic pass.
It's acceptable. So I kind of get what Benny's saying, but at the same time, I look at it from the point of view like we from the East Coast. Where you from, Anson? Where you from?
North Carolina.
You from North Carolina, so you kind of like you. I ain't gonna say you down where Atlanta's at, but up north, niggas is different than South niggas. In Atlanta niggas. Let's be clear, it's not the same.
Totally different.
Totally different mind states. Just like in Cali. Cali is totally different from Atlanta. So I think that a lot of these people that we speak of, they are really connected, but I think that they display a lot of feminine ways. They've been feminized. It's a bunch of different things that's been incorporated into this street life now. It's okay to do certain things. It's okay to pillow talk now. Before that was a cardinal sin. You could never talk about that. Now it's okay to do these things, and no one really cares. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying, but it's just what it is now. It's different.
So I do think we have a point there.
And that's why I say pretty much everything both of you said do kind of prove that the streets do control hip-hop culture in 2025. No matter how much we can talk about all the good music that came out this year, NBA Youngboy is hitting.
Yeah.
I'm not an NBA Youngboy fan at all, but that nigga is hit for real. Like, it is what it is. And of course, you know what I'm saying, the people that are actually street related, you know what I mean, may have had their highs and falls when involved with the music industry. But if the Nerds really took over hip hop culture right now, it would be way better. Bad enough, like every other episode that me and you've had, Sean, we had to talk about female rappers. Yeah. And we're not even talking about female rappers in a good way, like, yo, Rhapsody. But not even new stuff. Yo, Queen Latifah. Keep in mind, even if you talked about Lil' Kim or Foxy Brown back in the days, you would still at least mention an MC Lyte and a Missy and a Queen Latifah and a Rod Digger. Now you're either Nicki or Cardi B, and it's like it's the same.
Which I'm glad, which I'm glad you brought that up, because that kind of backs up my point about the new streets. And I think Benny has a point with that. I think what he really wants to say is a lot of the weak people, the fake people, are running the culture now. And just give you, for example, Nicki and Cardi. Nicki and Cardi both are supposedly from the streets. They both well connected. Nicki from South Jamaica, Queens, Cardi from South Bronx. But the interaction they had on Twitter, real women and real boss bees don't do that shit. They don't carry themselves like that. Like Nicki is carrying herself like a weak woman now. You know what I mean? Now, I don't want to get into her marriage or whatever, but I don't know how a man is married to that and allows your woman to carry herself like that. Like,
I gotta stop you for a minute, because I'll accept that over Lil Uzi Vert and JT any day.
But that's another. But you know what? That's a good point though, because JT, she's supposed to be hood, street, and all of that. That man is borderline.
Well,
I mean, let's
right?
pull it out. He's part of the community, a certain community.
So all right. There's two factors I think that a lot of people are not really talking about, and it's kind of missing from this conversation. And I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I'm gonna have to connect it in a way. So the song "Watch the Party Die" is a very telling song.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people don't understand that song. They think it's just a regular song. The ideology behind that song is very, very cryptic. And he was talking about, in the grand scheme of things, all of these artists are not doing anything no more, because everybody was partying. All these so-called street dudes, they were all partying. I think that the album GNX, to me, that's a street album. People could say whatever they want. For the majority of that album, it's street. It's just
West Coast Street.
West Coast Street album. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a West Coast.
I believe that album kind of messed a lot of stuff up for people. I think it messed up a lot of people. See, if you listen to the clips and you listen to GNX, it's kind of on the same wavelength. Not necessarily Tyler's album, but even though Tyler's album is creative and it's classic to me, those the GNX in Clips album is kind of it mirrors each other a little bit. Not too much, but you could tell it's kind of in the same vein. Mm-hmm. You listen to any of these other albums that came out after that, you can tell that they don't know where they're going. So when you talk about street rap, you know what I'm saying? I understand that we could say street rap running it, but when y'all say nerds, we are the only ones, and I'm gonna say all three of us, because we all nerds. I'm a street nigga, but I'm still a nerd too. We're the only ones that hold rappers accountable, the nerds. We the ones that hold them accountable. All these other niggas are yes men. They just go along with whatever's there. So when he says that about the nerds, I look at it like we're the ones that's breaking the music down. We're the ones that's listening to bars. We're the ones saying, oh, we think this, we're giving a different take. A lot of these dudes get on there and they don't even give that take. They just talk about how much money they got or what the hits they have and the swag they got. That's it.
And it's so much. Now you're hearing it in the underground, like a lot of underground rappers, no matter what type of style you do, always got to bring it rapping about money. When I wanted to rap, my goal was to not talk about money, but I ended up talking about money.
That's true.
I think Benny, and see, this goes to Benny as an artist, because Reese, I agree with what you said about him. I think Benny's problem is he hasn't grown as an artist into becoming a better street artist. But I think it's kind of a dilemma too, because the type of music that he makes is not embraced, because they want to embrace the fake hip hop culture. They want to embrace the young thug.
Hey man, listen. Yeah, a lot of people, we could say the same thing about but look at the clips. You know what I'm saying?
What it is, though, but to be all right.
Clips got a cheat code. That's why I can understand why Sean thinks the way he is.
What the cheat code is.
Clips got a cheat code.
Cheat code Pharrell?
Exactly.
Or you saying he got a cheat code because
no, you said it, Pharrell.
I think you know what I think it is about the
clip. Wait, time out though. Yeah. Anson, time out. Benny had his cheat code because he had Hit Boy. And he also
but he didn't come in the game with Hit Boy. He came in the game with Derringer, where he went in and out. He did stuff with Alchemist when he went in and out. He did stuff with Hit Boy when he went in and out. But Clips is Neptune.
Okay, but time out though. If we're going to get back into the music conversation, though, I mean, if we're really going to be objective about it, Alchemist and Pharrell are on the same level. Okay, he's got 2 joints with Alchemist, and they didn't hit what Let God Sort Them Out hit. But see, the difference is, and I think here's the kicker right here. Let's be honest. Benny the Butcher is not on the level of either Malice or Pusha T. Can we get that out of the way?
I agree. I'll put Benny over Pusha, but I'll put Malice. Nothing again.
Nah, I don't know about that, bro.
Bro,
I don't know about that.
Let's get the elephant out the room. If Benny's probably an 8, Pusha's a 9 to a 10. They are levels in the shit.
Pusha 8 no 9.
I'm gonna tell you,
and I'm in North Carolina.
I don't know about that.
I'm gonna tell you why I
think
Pusha's
a clearly 8. He will never be 7. He will never be 9. He's a clearly 8. But when we talk about Clips, you gotta talk about Pharrell, Malice, and Pusha T. Because 99% of Clips is that. It's very rare you're going to hear Clips without Pharrell. Let me give you that.
Okay, so you're admitting
it's like that playing without RZA.
That you put the 3 of them on a 9 level, but you would put Benny on an 8 then.
Because it's Clips.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Clan, U-God is a 2 here. But Wu-Tang Clan is a 10. But U-God is a 2.
That's true. But see, here's the whole thing. Benny had the luxury of having Alchemist and Hit Boy, and he can't reach the level of because Alchemist is a cheat code, bro. Let's get that out the way.
I don't agree with that. Alchemist is just hard music. Not everyone succeeds with Alchemist.
Man, you kidding me?
Wait, who else? Okay, wait a minute. Who else did I was with Alchemist? Earl Sweatshirt ain't as big as he used to be.
Okay, so wait, Alfredo 2 ain't no cheat code.
I just said Earl Sweatshirt. We already know Freddie, but I'm mentioning other rappers that did Alchemist joints. You know, Vince Staples felt the way Alchemist leaked that 7 song.
Dora?
Well,
the last Alchemist.
I don't know if I could put that in the same I think that's just more volume of work because
you said Alchemist is a cheat code though. You got to mention all the Alchemist.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, Mobb Deep. The Lock, Jada Kiss. I mean, stop. I mean, come on.
We ain't going to talk about all the stuff he did with Prodigy alone.
Oh yeah, come on.
And Raekwon.
Alchemist did put. Alchemist. Mobb Deep did help put Alchemist on. And of course, he was imitating that sound combined with Cypress Hill, so it makes sense. I can understand that.
Well, no, okay. But I want to say to you, right?
You're talking about like Clips, like. Collectively and separately, I don't agree with that.
Okay, all right. So look, this is why I say, right? I'll put it to you like this: I like Benny, but he don't have better albums than Pusha T alone, bro. That's just not happening, bro. He don't. Pusha T albums is better than Benny's albums. That's number one. Number two, I think the reason why I would always put Pusha T over Benny as a lyricist because Pusha T is so good. And he's so clear with his words. Their flow and how they rap is so clear. And I kind of feel what they're saying. I ain't no coke dealer. But sometimes they make me feel like a coke dealer. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I am bugging.
I'm just saying,
Malice over Benny. I am bugging. Malice over Benny, but I still got Benny over Pusha.
But I'll give you that. But the Pusha T and Benny. See, I think Pusha T is so much more of a layered MC than Benny. But and back to your Gibbs point, it might be also a shot at Gibbs too, which, in my opinion, I think is a better overall artist, even though he's not the lyricist Benny is. But
that I agree. Yeah.
But the thing about Gibbs, he had his cheat code and won with it. Now, didn't he? He had Alchemist, he had Mad Lib, and he put out classics. So it's like maybe it's a little bit of a shot at dude, because it's like, all right, if I'm a real dude, I'm the real dude in the streets. How are these guys, these type of street dudes, getting over me when I'm the one putting in the work and blah, blah, blah? When it's like, look, dog, you got to grow somewhat of an MC. You got to get more diverse in your songs, you know? And the thing about Benny is he's tried like a lot of double time flow and did some stuff with some down south beats on his latest album that I didn't think really worked. You know what I mean? I think he should just stay in that lane of that gritty, that Derringer sound, that Griselda sound, that Conductor Williams sound, and I think he'll be fine. He could put out a classic. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't think he's a layered MC like some of these other artists that are in the streets. So it could be a little bit of a shot too that, oh, well, my type of, I'm the street MC that should be over these new street guys that are getting all the shine.
I agree with that. I definitely think that Benny the Butcher, he made his way through hip hop, and at one point he was looked at as the golden child. Like he was. Like I thought that I said, okay, yeah, this guy here, he's gonna take it to the next level.
Around COVID time.
Yeah, around COVID time. I said, yeah, they're gonna do their thing. I think what happened with him was it's only so many ways you can rap about certain things. And this is why the Clips only have about 4 or 5 albums. Because there's only so many ways you can spin something. You got to either grow or stay stagnant. And in this world where we live in, where hip hop is at now, these artists are way ahead of him creatively. I don't think he can catch these dudes. He's not catching no Tyler the Creator, bro. It's not happening. He can't do what he does, bro. And I'll put it to you like this. I think if he would have worked on it years ago and started working on it, he could have got there. But right now, he just can't. He could be super lyrical, had the dopest verse of the year, but he'll never be considered as one of the artists that has the greatest catalog or the greatest classic albums. I just don't see it happening for him. You know?
I understand that. Benny fire to me, but I will say Conway over Benny as far as career-wise, in my opinion. Like there's a few Conway, pretty much there's a few Conway albums I skip, but most of them are fire to me. There have been I haven't really heard a weak Benny project. I just heard a dope Benny project that I just heard twice and kept it moving. I'll listen to songs on a not so great Conway album over and over more though.
I do kind of vibe with that, in that I do think now Conway is more the guy at the forefront than Benny. I think Conway has kind of passed him a little bit, but I still think both are dope street MCs and are definitely top 5 of the street MCs right now. But I think Conway artistically is a little bit more of a layered MC, when Benny used to be that guy. Like around COVID time, Benny was unstoppable. Like if we talking about what, 2019, 2020, 2021, like the Plugs I Met time, and oh my God, he was unstoppable, man. I'd even say up until what was it, Tana Talk 4. That was the one he did, all the Alchemist one, right?
Let me ask you a question. In 2025, has Che Noir passed Benny?
Che Noir? Ooh, nah, I don't know about that.
You don't think?
I don't know about that. That's strong right there. As far as a female, I think she's a grittiest street female rapper out there. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say if we talking like, see, this is where I think Benny he made a misstep by saying this. Now that I think about it, they have a whole section to themselves.
That Buffalo,
the trust from with let's just say Griselda down to Ransom, down to 38 Special, Flea Lord, El Camino, Chez Noir, Rome Streets. They had a whole section to themselves. They were doing everything themselves. I don't understand why he would think that. They literally had a section to themselves. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like y'all had that on lock. They could have just kept that whole street stuff to themselves.
Let's keep it real.
Got a whole section that's not even complaining right now to this day. Currency. You never heard him complain about the state of hip hop because he continues to keep that section to himself that the names that we're talking about go to.
That's the reason why
he has about 20 albums.
That's the reason. Yeah, he got more than that.
That's what I'm saying.
Currency's got like 50 albums. He's got a lot.
Same thing with Ransom. Ransom released 18 projects since 2000 and since COVID. 18. Like,
but I think Benny's talking about as far as the mainstream culture.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. I'm just saying, like,
but he should not complain because that really, if you think about it, if we're going to talk about real lyrical street rap, you know, that New York tri-state, that New York, I mean, we're talking Rochester, Buffalo, they run the real street rap. Like the NYC MCs are all vets. They're all guys from the 90s and 2000s because there aren't any New York street MCs that are under the age of 30 that's burning up the game. All of them Buffalo guys and you know 38 Special and Rome Streets and all of those, you know, the upstate MCs, they are New York street rap right now. I mean, he's got to be honest about that.
Yeah. How old is Joey Badass?
Oh, he's like 27.
Yeah, I think
he was young when he started, wasn't he? He was like 17.
Yeah, he's like Joey Badass is still young. I think he's like 29 or something like that.
20. He might not be 30 yet.
Hey Siri, how old is Joey Badass? Yeah. He's 30.
They're just 30 now.
Yeah. About that. I think Herbo just turned 30 also. So I can't even put him in that, like, because he's one of the few drill rappers I like, G Herbo.
That's right. He's Chicago, right?